What's up, guys? Welcome to the first.
Fanrantan here, and welcome back to another Pokemon pack opening.
I haven't put my face
sorry,
on my
sorry,
commitment.
sorry, sorry. Is it the other one? Welcome back, guys, to the Fanran. Or no, sorry, I fucked that one. Welcome back, guys, to the Bent Fender Podcast. My name is Owen, and today we're looking at the 420 Daytona race that happened in Oregon. Oh no, it's the other one. Oh, all right. Sorry. Go ahead. I'm just being. Go follow Owen on YouTube, by the way. All channels be in the fucking description.
Oh, Jesus.
I know.
Every time I fucking start this, these guys fucking with me.
Oh yeah, every time. Go back
I
and
think
watch the Diablo podcast. We make a joke every single time.
I think Dave still had the best of it.
I can change that.
Oh, we're gonna give James a hard time during the campaign that I don't think the jokes at the beginning are gonna matter. He's gonna hate the fact that we're all fucking tanky as shit.
I'm gonna kill him.
We just all collectively decided, just like, you know what? Screw being hit.
Like, no, we all like collectively, like individually decided, you know what, we're gonna play a barbarian for this one, and then Liam is like, you know what, I'm gonna play a crusader, and then it's just one crusader and fucking 5 barbarians. It's literally like a kindergarten field trip.
You-
We're fucked.
and
They're
you
fucked.
just surround yourself.
Barbarian.
You just surround me so you'll get that +2 shield bonus.
Yeah, it's literally like we can all have fucking tower shields, and we're getting off topic. Owen, fucking tell him, please, before we make more jokes.
So,
Oh, did it? Sorry.
welcome
Yeah, dude, sorry. Go on.
25 minutes later.
so, welcome to the first episode of the Paradise Show on the Drunkards and Dumbasses YouTube channel. Today we got myself, Owen, we got Wes, Liam, and V with us. And
You only pointed at me correctly on my screen. Everyone else, you're like you pointed west at Liam, you pointed Liam at
There was
me, and then
no correct
me.
pointing on my screen.
Yeah.
for me, it was
You'll see them. You recognize us. It's fine. If you've seen us before,
Who are you?
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah,
Who?
who are you? What am I doing here?
Who am I?
I don't know you. Wait, are you that guy that fixes your hair constantly?
Yeah.
Okay, so Liam is shooting shots today.
Yep. No one left it standing today.
some air drinking
So we're gonna be
You always got to
answering,
take.
or we're gonna be asking ourselves questions and then answering them. It's like a Q&A, but it's one side. It's like a Q&A in a mirror almost. So we're just
Yeah.
gonna be talking about shit, and y'all just have to listen.
That's a
I
very
don't know.
crappy subject.
It's just, I know,
Yep.
right? So, anyways, Owen, do you want to start us off with our first question numero uno of the day?
All right, so uh, who is your favorite character that you have played?
I think we should start off with the more open one. Why do we play D&D?
Yeah, that one's better. So,
It's just to start us off, ease us in, if you will.
why did we start playing D&D? Wes, we'll go to you first.
Oh, okay. I was not thinking you were gonna go to me first. That's crazy. Why do I play D&D? Well, for one, I like, sitting in a room or sitting in a call with, a bunch of my friends and talking about nerdy shit. It's a lot of fun, all the conversations, they're super healthy, I love all my friends. I love my play group. Otherwise, as the forever DM, wah, 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 as the forever DM, I love building a story, and I love giving my friends little nuggets of lore every now and again, and then they'll connect the dots a little bit later during playtime, and I get to watch all their faces go, oh, and that is the biggest gratification. I don't need a thank you. All I need, oh, that's all I need. I love that. I get off on that. I didn't need to phrase it like that, but I did.
Cut
Liam,
that.
why do you play D&D? That's
I
my long-winded answer.
I play D&D because it's honestly a great escape and one of the things that just helps reset me through the week. Um, I just love creating characters, thinking of backstories, just trying as many possible combinations as I can. Just all I got.
Take her away, V. Why have you come as like, a relatively new player? Like, why don't you describe like what it's like to like get into it and
Oh,
then
we
describe why
lost
you
her.
like it? Oh, no,
Oh,
too much pressure. It's like you're adding a question on top of a question? No way. They just like dipped. No way.
hey. Uh,
Wait, wait. Owen, take it away while V.
I'm back.
Hey!
I got the
Hooray!
internet
Never mind.
connection on my computer.
never
Oh my
mind. All right.
goodness.
So, let's see how long my phone lasts.
So V, why did you start playing D&D or want to?
Cause I'm stuck with friends like you. No. Love you guys. Yeah, I don't know. I started listening to D&D podcasts over a summer, and then I was like, I was talking to Owen, and I was like, oh my god, this would be fun. And he was like, yeah, this is what we do. And I was like, oh, sweet. And that's kind of how it started. But
Hey,
yeah.
and what was the experience like? First getting into D&D, was it like was it intimidating? Was it like how did it feel jumping into like like an already established play group?
Absolutely terrifying. Um,
Yeah.
I don't know, like,
Not just your anxiety or
yes, thank you for adding more anxiety into my life.
no, I'm fucking with you.
What are friends
I was
for?
already friends with most of you, so it was kind of like, oh, let's just go hang out with my friends plus a few other people. So,
Yeah, you knew cool people along the way. Yeah.
yeah, so,
Mhm.
I don't know, it was fun. So,
Yeah. Owen, tell me about it.
I think I like wanted to start playing D&D just so I had something else to do. Uh, back in high school when I started, um, and I just like loved, loved it and got got with this group and can't get away, can't don't want to stay away from it because I love this group. I love what we're doing here, and I just love fucking D&D.
Amen, brother. Amen. So I got a good next question for us. Once I pull up my notes. See, I'm unprepared outside of DMing. It's just a part of my life, guys.
all good.
Um, Talk to me about character creation. Where does character creation begin for you? As players, like I'll talk about more NPC creation with my answer. It'll be more of like a DM's POV, but I want to pass it to these guys and
Yep.
ask them where does character creation begin for you? Do you begin with stats? Do you begin with backstory? Do you begin with this is a cool thing, I want to try it? Talk to me about it. V, why don't you talk to me about it? Because you're relatively newer. You've made a lot less characters.
Oh no,
Well,
I probably made a shit ton more
you
characters
you've
than
made a
half of you.
shitload of
Yeah,
characters.
I have,
I haven't made that many characters,
I
but
have,
would it? you've just now that you're making all these fucking characters. What
Yeah,
is it like? Why are you? Where do you start with it?
it's super fun. I usually start with like an image for me. Like I'm not super like keen on like my character needs to be like the biggest and strongest dude in the freaking world, like kind of thing. It's like kind of like to see my characters fail. We saw that in my first ever campaign. We all remember that moment.
Was it the stealth rolls or was it?
It was that Hydra
Um,
with the bee, remember?
oh yeah,
Tried to
I
hide
remember.
under the bee. But
Oh, I'm pretty sure you're just gonna be sideways for us if you do it like that.
no, but I'm trying to take my phone. I'll hold my phone. My computer's not working.
That's rude.
I know.
Tell it
Um,
to work.
I know, right? I usually start with either a digital
Maybe
render
it's
for
hungry.
with
Sorry.
like digital,
Continue.
or I'll draw a sketch of a character and then I'll make a character sheet for it if I actually want to go forward with it. So like I've got binders full of character sketches, but some of them have not made the cut.
Okay. I would love to see a recollection of all like the failed characters that never got to
I'll
the
show you
character
when I
sheet
come home.
phase.
I will
All
show you when I
right. I would love to. Yeah, I would love to see your sketchbook and all your characters. That would be amazing. Um, Owen, you have an interesting past with making characters. Why don't you tell me about where your character creation starts?
Where mine normally starts is like when we're starting a new campaign, it's like, okay, what would I want to play? And for me, I love doing like damage dealers. That is like my speciality. With in our last main campaign, I played a barbarian
Woo-hoo.
named Lee, who was, let's just say, kind of like if you watch Critical Role, kind of like Grog, but a lot less cool.
Hey, fucking Zolog was badass, dude. He had a cool Zolog, son of Bamaz. That was the coolest fucking name. Your whole village lore was super sick, where you all took your father's name as your surname. That was really cool. He was a really cool character, and I wish you had the confidence to explore him more. And I wish I could have gave you more, because that was, a lot of the time when I was burnt out.
I I feel like in this campaign I've gotten more into the role playing aspect because I think
Hmm.
in in the last one I was still kind of a little nervous even though I've been playing for years at that point, but I think now it's just kind of becoming more natural rather than kind of
Of course.
forced.
Hmm. No, that's awesome. I love that. Liam, you are very passionate. I know this guy. I have never met someone more passionate about D&D than Liam. He is one of my best friends, and B, one of like I call him like my number two, my fucking first mate, my fucking assistant DM when it comes to this shit. When I don't know shit, he knows it, and if we don't know it, who the fuck cares?
So yeah, when it comes to me creating characters, honestly, it's just all the books that we have. I like looking through all of them, and then I just when I see a class, it just clicks into my mind, and the backstory just starts writing itself. It's like I know exactly how this character is gonna go.
Amazing, yeah. Like, and you have a very, again, like Owen, you have a very interesting history with making characters. You played a pacifist at one point,
Yes, I did.
and you started out playing fucking dwarf fighters, and then you played a pacifist, and now you're getting into both now knees, excuse me, goddamn the tokes, goddamn the tokes. Anyways, Now with Knees and Calduin, who are like polar opposite when it comes to characters, what's that like for you? How is like you are so very polar with your character creations. Like, you know what? I'm gonna go back to back with questions here because I have another question here somewhere. Um, where do you find your ideas for your backstories? Like, you you have so many different creative. Arnier was a pacifist, and I can't remember his name, but your dwarf fighter, he had just didn't fucking think. He was a baller, but he just didn't fucking think. And now, like Knees and Kiriki, or Knees and Kiriki. Wow, Knees and Kaluan, like they're very polar opposites. Like how where's let me find the question again. Fuck.
Where does the inspiration
Where
come
do you
from?
find all your ideas? Like where's the inspiration?
Excuse me. Some of it does come from like your normal media tropes, like anime stuff like that. Sometimes um, other D&D players or whatnot. But a lot of them, I just think of a story on the spot. I'm like, yeah, this seems great. I'm going with this. Like the like
Oh man, I'm your
Arnir,
emoji.
my pacifist one. That one was just like, you know what? It's a D&D game based on fighting. I'm gonna go against the norm, and I'm gonna do a pacifist. See how that goes.
Yeah, tell me about your decision to. Sorry, I don't mean to exclude you two. I'm gonna get to you two about the inspiration and stuff. But I really want to talk about like where did the sudden want to be a pacifist in a combat based system. Like as you know, the rules are just so very pointed towards combat and leave role playing up to more interpretation to the DM. But at the end of the day, it's not like there's plenty of like the drama system, I believe, that we have, like the Gangbusters books. Yeah, we have like a different role playing system for like a 1920s gangster campaign, which would be really cool to run. Oh, and we lost a V again.
I'm back.
Hopefully they'll come back and
It's working
on their
again.
computer or whatever.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's working again. Wow, look how fucking skinny my arms look in this shirt. I don't know. It was like I have to do laundry,
12-year-old.
so I've been like, I am a 12-year-old.
Ba-
I'm
ba-
just kidding. I'm over 19. I drink on camera. I buy every time I go to the LCBO. It's the same. I mean, I go to the LCBO. Everyone, all right, hold on. Let me
Words.
phrase this in a way that doesn't make me sound like an alcoholic. I
Sorry.
know a lot of people
This is
in the
Nate.
LCBO, so I don't often get ID'd, but everywhere else, everybody thinks I'm a fucking 12-year-old. And I'm like, like I go up to the bar, I'm like, can I have a Wickard's Wed, please? And then they're like, kid, you can't. And I'm like, bro, please, I'm, how old am I? I'm 20. Like, guys, please, I'm 20. I just want a drink, please. And they're like, all right, I believe you. And I'm like, oh my god. Anyway, sorry, interruption. Where were we?
Pacifist. Why I chose to be one.
Yes, sorry. I go off on tangents a lot, especially when I'm not
Shocker.
focused on like D&D. And even in D&D, I go off on tangents a lot. But what was your decision to be a pacifist?
Honestly, it
And not
was
only a pacifist who couldn't speak common.
right. Thank you for reminding me
Where
about
did
that.
that come from?
I think I just wanted to go against like the normal D&D style tropes where it's like fight, fight, fight. Everything's like, oh, I gotta make my character this type of combat power. It also did stem for your hatred towards druids a bit. Um,
Yeah, it did. I hate the druid.
So
I forgot about that.
so
And I literally have a combat-based druid in my campaign now. So I kind of bit the bullet on that one and just said, fine. If you want to play this class, fine. It's fine. I'll figure it out. But
so
back then, as a newer DM, I was like, I fucking hate druid. And he's like, please, I really want to play a druid. And I'm like, fine, but like, don't choose the asshole spells. And then he was like, you know what? Fuck you. I'm just not gonna choose any good spells. I'm just gonna be pacifist. I'm kidding. That's an over exaggeration. He was a hard carry. Like Zolog, Galathar, Arnir, and Hezekiah, rest in peace. I will explain a little bit more about that because I have a question purely so I can talk about that.
Shocker.
yeah, so
Sorry, I do have a lot of DM based questions because I was like, you guys like I don't I would again tangenting. I know you really want to talk about your character, because I asked you a question, but I have a lot of DMs POV questions. But like as Owen and Liam as newer DMs compared to me, who's run most of them. I think even back when we were playing Pathfinder at the place over near my grandma's place, my grandma's old place, Liam. I think I was still running most of those games.
yeah.
I think you ran the first one, and I was like, I want to try, and then I just became the forever DM. That's your first mistake. Don't try. I'm kidding. Being a DM is like my favorite thing is as a player, especially in Owen's campaign. Owen is a very new DM. That Owen's the Diablo campaign. Check it out if you want to see what it's like to have a fresh DM run your game.
DM to DMing.
Hmm? Yeah, it was his first ever, and he did most of it himself. Like I, me and Liam gave him a little bit of steering just to make sure he was,
Bit of
there.
like
But most of it, he did it himself because he's the most experienced here about Diablo. And if you like Diablo, and if you love our boy Owen, fucking check her out. I know, honestly. I'm just honestly this episode. I'm pretty sure I'm just gonna be promoting everything because I have a whole segment about other people's channels,
Shocker.
which will all be linked in the fucking description. Sorry, Owen. Sorry, not Owen. Sorry, Liam. I'll pay you $10 to edit this one because it's gonna be a big one.
I honestly don't care.
I'll pay you $10. It's fine. I swear. Once I get the money from this demo job, real life shit. Once I get money from this demo job, I'll fucking give you a fucking 10 or 20 or something. And as I was saying earlier, I will pay you to be my editor if you want because I don't do shit with this channel. I literally just run the game until I stop wanting to run the game.
Honestly, I just enjoy doing it, so I honestly
Hey,
don't care.
well,
I mean, we're
hell
all
yeah.
doing stuff with the channel that like we're good at.
No, honestly, like I have
what
like the three main people who actually run the channel for me. Like imagine shows like Jimmy Fallon. Imagine me as fucking Walmart Jimmy Fallon or whatever the fuck his name is. I already forgot it. Sorry, Jim. um, imagine Jimmy Fallon. I'm like my name is plastered on the side of the building,
I mean,
so
not
to
that
speak,
far.
as the no, of course, but I'm like the big screen. So if you're gonna click on one of our videos, the first thing you're gonna see is my ugly mug.
Not anymore, thanks to my thumbnails.
again?
Well, yeah, that's true. But like when you click on the video, it is. Your thumbnails are fantastic. I showed them to my graphic designer stepdad, and he's like, "Wow, these are really good. I like it."
Really? Oh.
Yeah, he's like, "Yo, these are fucking great." And I
Which
showed him
reminds me, we
my real
still
dad, and
need
he was
one
like, "Yo,
for
these
the
are great."
newest episode.
We do, yeah. I would love to see what your thumbnail is for the
Once
feline of
once
the favor.
exams are over, I will get that thumbnail done.
Hell yeah. But yeah,
Yeah.
we have this will be the real shout outs to my tech team here is like B out here runs the thumbnails, does all the art. They're amazing. They're amazing. They're
Thank you.
amazing. And sentence, they're amazing. There we go. Liam, he does all the editings. Liam does the editing out here. He runs the majority of the channel, I'm pretty sure. And then Owen handles like emails and like logistics behind it all because it's his email in the description.
Yep.
Yeah.
The fact that you're like CEO of like three separate channels, like and you're like really new to YouTube, I'm like, damn, Owen, all right, going off, trying to get your name out there. I
Woo.
could see you being like a producer or some shit in future with all this experience. Anyways, we're getting way off topic. I just wanted to shout out, my three favorite people, um, who run the show for me because I work full time and then I'm out here thinking of the story and all this shit sometimes. But you guys are amazing, and I'm very appreciative that you guys put in the time and effort to put it out on YouTube for our what 5 average viewers. But hey, fuck it. I'm not even like we're not even posting this out here for fame. I really just wanted to post it on YouTube for 2 reasons. One, so my girlfriend can watch them. She's watched. She's going to watch every single episode. She fell behind exams and shit. And two, so I can go back and remember shit that I said because I have a terrible memory.
You actually hit the nail right on the head. It is 5 returning viewers that we have.
Yeah.
It's probably us 5.
Let's go, Callie, me, because I've watched every single VOD we've released.
I watch them because I'm looking for quotes from you guys to put on funny shit.
I edit
Hell
them,
yeah.
so I don't really watch them, to be honest.
Oh, okay. You know what? That's fair. So 3 of them are us. We have 2 returning viewers. Fuck it. Shout out to you too. You know who you are.
Yeah, so are we still on that pacifist topic, or are we?
Yes, we are. I'm so far down the tangent that I forgot my ladder.
No worries.
Tell me about your choice to be a pacifist, and not only this is me recapping to get us back on track so everyone remembers because I talked for fucking 40 minutes. Tell me what your choice was like to be a pacifist, not only a pacifist, but a pacifist who doesn't speak common.
Honestly, like I said before, it was more or less to go against the norm of D&D, because my thought was just like the thing going through my mind is what would be really fun to play. It's like, how about somebody who doesn't believe in harm mostly? Um, and I thought it was just would have been really fun to play a pacifist
Probably cut
who,
someone's ear off,
yeah.
slit someone's throat.
um,
The shit Arnir pulled on during Palor's tear, the most violent he's ever gotten in his last moments.
Jesus.
Anyways,
but yeah, so it's like I know this is a combat. My thought process is like I know this is combat game, but I think it would be really fun to try a pacifist. I semi would recommend it, not really. um, it does get a little boring after a while, but if you play it right, it can still be a lot of fun because is I made sure that even though I was a pacifist, I was still in the combat. I made myself a control. If you go based off of your typical MMOs, you got your tanks, you got your damage. I decided to go controller, so I would take over the battlefield and mold it to my image, how I wanted it to go. And the thing about not speaking common, again, that was just something fun to do. Is like, hey, what if this character spent his entire life in an area where he didn't speak common at all. So he had to learn as the campaign progresses. Kind of like a barbarian, just less illiterate.
I am just trying to find what was the original question that we had? Was it where do you find ideas for your backstory?
I think it was
Yeah,
the
yeah,
second
that's
question.
exactly what it was. It's exactly what it was. So, uh, I'll pass it to you, Owen, I guess. Fuck it. Owen, where do you find ideas for your backstory? I know where you find ideas from your name. Oliver Wilson was awful. Um, you could have done something with it, made it more fun. But hello,
guess
Nate. Welcome to the chat.
yes. I guess
Hello.
General Kenobi, you are a bold one. Come to die.
Here we go.
The negotiator.
Anyways, we're all fucking Star Wars nerds here. Continue, Owen. My apologies. I hear hello there, and I have to do it. You know the law.
Yep.
You've heard of Canadian law. It's section 24D.2.
It's not even a section. Oh my god.
I have no fucking clue.
We're not law majors, okay?
I'm not a law nerd. I'm not a real nerd. I just like watching stupid TV shows about lasers. Anyways, Owen, take her away. Answer the question before I make another tangent.
I don't normally come up with backstories. Uh, what my thought, what my thought process
Not there.
is
Sorry.
We love you, Owen.
We did not hear that
Liam.
one.
basically
I'm sorry.
You guys are shitheads. We're all shitheads. Holy fuck.
where
Do we have anywhere plastered on our channel that it's 18 plus?
Yeah.
Because we really should.
I'll tell
All the
Owen to put it
videos
in the
are
description.
labeled as not for kids.
Okay, good.
Bet. Okay, good. I've been kind of concerned about that because I don't really I have a filter. I always do. But I have not really given myself a filter on this. This is meant for people who enjoy drinking and people who hang out and
I mean,
also
based on
people
the
who
name, I
enjoy.
feel like people could figure it out.
Well, yeah, if a fucking 9-year-old is watching a channel called Drunkards and Dumbasses, I'm pretty sure parents might have an issue with it. So if you're a kid, kind of avoid it, you know?
We're all
Not
we're doing
stitches, but like, just you
is
know,
just covering our asses in case a
just
little kid
covering our
watches
asses
this
because
shit.
I don't want any angry emails from a Karen. Because I'm not even going to receive them. I don't want Owen to have to deal with that.
If you want, I could start putting like a warning at the beginning of the videos.
yeah
I don't know. Do we need it?
I mean, if we put a content warning in the description, I think we're fine.
If there's a content warning in the description, I
Nobody
don't
goes
think it would
down
be
into
too
the
awful.
description.
That's not happening.
Absolutely.
Although
no
they
one.
should because Liam puts really good recaps in the description. They're vague enough to make people intrigued, but they lay out what the fuck happened.
Thank you.
Like
Liam's
I've
work
read
is
every single description. I'm like, damn, Liam, go off.
Liam's work is so underappreciated. It's not even.
I
funny.
honestly like that's why I'm gonna start paying him as my editor. You know, I'm not paying you a lot. I'm not fucking made of money here.
Yeah, I don't care.
I'm trying to live too. But I'll fucking sauce you a tenner. Like easy peasy.
We'll just get him a Tim's gift card every month.
Fiverr. Oh yeah, can you edit my video, please?
Hop on Fiverr. There's Liam there. Like, hey guys.
Hey guys, I can edit
Um,
videos.
we're tangenting again. Who was talking? What was the question?
Oh,
I don't remember.
Owen was.
Owen, it was his
Owen.
thought process between making his
Thought
characters.
process on
He has
getting
a
his
thought
character's
process.
backstory.
We've already made that joke.
Sorry. Yeah.
Second time.
I know. I just wanted to make it again as
Okay,
beat
Owen,
to beat the dead on.
getting back on topic here. What is your thought process on getting characters' backstories?
Well, I normally kind of go for like yeah, do kind of like a character progression in my backstory, but it normally doesn't really. And I normally don't think of it until I'm actually doing the backstory, so I don't really have an idea of what it's going to be until I actually do it. So nothing really special, but yeah,
I
You're muted.
muted again, dumbass.
Sam. Every single fucking time. Maybe next character you build, maybe you should start out and think about backstory. See how it changes your development of the character, and see how it changes how much you like your character and how much you care about your character as a character, not as a stat block.
what could I add something onto my answer for like the backstory stuff?
Of course.
One thing when it comes to writing backstories as well is I really like to help tie it into the DM's story. So it's like I really like to give them stuff to add in and go off of.
You have the best transitions because now I have like another good question to ask based on you saying that, but I want to hear from V and Nate here. Tell me about your thought process. V, you've made so many characters, and you're a visionary character, like a visionary character builder. That's how you start off. You start off with a vision. Me personally, I like to start off with like not a visionary what they look like, but who they are as a person. That's how I really like to start with is what is my character gonna act like?
Mhm. I like to
I
do
do.
that after.
I
Like,
often like going back to our original. Sorry to interrupt.
that's it.
Uh, Going back to like the original like first whatever question. Where does character building start for me? I thought I was going to talk about NPCs, but now I'm kind of talking about from, because I had the experience to be a player for a little bit because, all of my favorite people around the table, they were like, yeah, 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 I'll run a campaign. I'll run a quick one shot. I'll try my head at DMing. Well, I was like, hey guys, I'm building my campaign. I have a deadline for it. Here it is. But if we want to play D&D, you guys can build some one shots and we can play through them to give us that D&D filler that we've all been missing because we took like a year and a half hiatus throughout COVID. Um and that was the time where I was building the Boundless Shores was like immediately after, well, not immediately after my last campaign. I think I do have a question in there where I can talk about what happened. Oh, I do. Yeah, I do indeed. I do indeed. Oh, indubitably.
I do
Now I'm
not
distracting
say
myself because I
blah
did.
blah blah.
I did not say blah blah blah. Um, Going back, I like to start off with a class or a race. I see it like because sometimes I'm like, fucking, I want to play a goblin because I'm a goblin. So sometimes I just want to unlock my inner goblin and just play a fucking crazy little dude. It's awesome. I love it. I have a great goblin voice. I will be explaining like we have a whole segment about not questions but more discussion topics than anything. Um I like to play goblins, but sometimes I'm also like, I really want to try. Like in one of the one shots we ran, I was like, I really want to try running a monk, and so I'm like, all right, I'm gonna play a monk, and I built the backstory, and that's where I started. So I go class or race, depending on like what I'm feeling, and then backstory. So I was talking to V here. V, tell me about where your character inspiration starts because you build a lot of characters. You have a whole like show them your sketchbook. I've seen their sketchbook and it's oh it's you don't
It's
have
in
it on
here.
you.
Yeah, it's back at home.
Got it. All right. But yeah, it's like this fucking thick. Well, all fucking character create like character ideas. They're insane. I. Whew. So tell me about your thought process of like where do you get your ideas for character backstories and such?
They usually start as like a footnote. So like when I built Beckett, I was like, okay, I want dark, sketchy, tragic lifestyle. When I did for Owen's campaign, when I did Iridove, I wanted like pretty, happy, sunshine and roses kind of vibe, and that's what I went with. Um,
And we all loved Iridove.
Iridove's my favorite. I will always love her.
I'm pretty sure. What was my character? I'm pretty sure Ogdo may have had a minor crush on Iridove,
Probably.
but like I can't say for certain.
We'll have to retouch
But
that in, like a recap.
but yeah, who knows?
The game me is like trying not to spit on the floor.
Got him.
um, yeah, like they usually start as like just a few sentences or like a few bullet points, and then like when we're asked to make a big backstory, I want to be like as historically accurate as possible because I'm a history nerd. So like with Beckett, who's a plague doctor, I was like as historically accurate as possible in my backstory.
And you were historically accurate to the real world,
Mhm.
which I never had a plague in my lore.
Mhm.
And you know what? I have now two questions that I could perfectly lead it up to, but I wanna ask Nate as a relatively newer player. He said he had a little bit of experience beforehand, before joining. But where do you get your inspiration from, and how do you create your characters? I'm gonna leave those both open so that you can answer it how you want. Where does character creation begin for you, and where do you get your inspiration? That's a better way to phrase it.
I get inspiration my characters uh, from I get some inspiration from influences in my life. Um, so like things that have happened in my life, um, the people that I have come across in my adventures around wherever I have been in my life, and I base it off of that. I take from that as a starting point, and then I go from there. Then I implement more fictitious stuff, whether that be from things TV shows or movies I've watched, or card games I've played, and then I like to add my own personal touch to it to make it unique if I can.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And I just want to add, you know, I love this play group. I really do. This has been, and I've said it before, I'm gonna say it again for my entire life until this play group is over, which I hope it doesn't. I hope as long as I play a D&D, I hope I have these fucking amazing ugly ass faces around me because I love all of you. And I'm kidding. Y'all are fucking cute. Mwah.
I'm not
Um
so bad you said so well.
I don't know. I started complimenting you guys and I kind of forgot my point, so I'm gonna try and circle it back here and see if I remember it. But this has been the most amazing play group that I've ever played in, and I've had a few play groups in my time. You know, I've a few recurring faces through it, all of them. I know both Owen and Liam have been there throughout most of my what did it just give me the notification that you joined now?
Because I switched
Oh,
from my
because you switched
laptop
to
to
camera.
my phone, or phone to
Hey,
laptop.
my man knows how to do camera 2 out here. Let's go.
Yeah.
That was the most amazing discovery I've ever had. A little quick sidebar. Um,
Again.
but I remember my point. See, I just had to do another sidebar, and I remember my point. So I love the like. Not only do I love all my friends, and I love their input and how they express themselves. I love how individually thinking we all are, and to this one pretty open-ended question, every single one of us had a vastly different answer of where our character comes from, and I think that's what I really value guys for that, is because we all had a different answer for the same question. I don't know, I think it's amazing, and I love how your brains think, and I love you guys. Like it is great. I'm just gonna be gassing you guys up the whole time.
And
Wait,
Wes
wait,
starts crying.
wait,
Expect me next session to kick your ass. By the way,
wait. Our brains
I'm
work.
gonna let your egos float up here, and then I'm gonna kick your guys' ass and make you hate me again.
Wait,
So
wait. Hold on, hold on. Our brains work.
Right? God.
what? I didn't say anything.
We have thoughts.
Oh my
Wow.
God. Jesus.
So I believe I covered everyone here about like kind of character basis things. I kind of have
Within
another question
24
here.
minutes.
Um, yeah, right. Um, so Leah mentioned we have a lot of books. So we play Dungeons and Dragons 3.5 edition. So why? Like, I want to kind of leave this up to you. Why do we play 3.5? Liam, why have we chosen to play 3.5 over the transition to 5e with all the modernized books and the modernized rules and D&D Beyond and all those assets that back 5e? Why are we still stuck in the fucking 1990s?
Um, that actually is a good question that I don't think I really have an answer to fully. Uh, to me, I like playing 3.5 just because of how certain classes and races are set up. Because like have looked over different 5e books and I've noticed that certain classes have different changes to them, some better, some worse. Um, so for me, I think being in 3.5, I just feel I just like some of the classes better. That's why I like playing 3.5.
I can't wait till we move to
Um,
5e so I can play Artificer.
So does anyone have an answer to this question? Because I do. I can hop in here. But why do we like to you three here? Why are we stuck on 3.5? Do you guys have an answer for this, or can I take the spotlight?
I'm right here, you know.
Yeah, you've played 5e. Nate's
I
played
have
5e.
played 5e.
I think
So
the reason we stick with 3.5 is we don't want to spend the money to get everything for 5e.
you know what?
We're all
Agreed.
broke.
We have like 70 plus books as PDFs in our Google Drives shared to all of us, and we got all of those from free. For once again, I'm going to be talking about past TM experiences. And this might be a long ass video, so if any of you guys just need to sub out, oh fucking good.
Yeah,
But this
we've
might be
already
a long
we've
what's
already
our
hit the
runtime so
50-minute
far?
right. We've
This is gonna be like we're gonna hit the end of the like our runtime, and we're still gonna have more questions. It's because like how not only how many of us there are, but how like long our answers are and how many
How long
fucking
they
tangents I go on.
I'm
I love
definitely
it.
gonna
Yeah.
have some stuff to edit.
This is gonna be the Q&A to end all Q&As.
Mhm. But I also don't want to call it a Q&A. Like,
Yeah.
because a Q&A is more like people ask us questions and we answer them.
This is
Like,
more
it's
like chill.
more,
Yeah, we're just like hanging out.
we're asking ourselves the questions and then we're answering them.
The D&D discussion to end all D&D
Mhm.
discussions.
But I also thought of all the questions and then I made sure I didn't think about the answers for them. I have a few that I've actually thought about. Like one of the questions that I really do want to discuss during our runtime. I want to save a little bit for later.
Yeah, like another thing that could happen is just if things just get like too long, we could always just do it next time as well.
Ooh.
Like there's
Yeah.
always got to be more questions.
Oh, of course. But I don't know. Hold on. Let me pull up another question here to just kind of get us back on track.
There was that perfect
Or did I?
segue that you had. There was two actually questions
Yeah,
that
there's
you
one for
wanted.
the plague, and then there was one for 3.5. I mean, if we want to move on, we can go to the plague, but
Oh, yeah, you wanted to give your reasoning for why you play 3.5.
Oh yeah.
oh
What was
right.
my answer, boys? I don't remember. No, it's okay. Why do I play 3.5? Maybe I'm a little bit stuck in the past, and you know the good old days, the golden days of D&D, so to speak. And you know, as much as I enjoy the modernized era of you know everyone can have their player sheets on their tablets or whatever.
Totally
Jesus
No,
fuck.
I
not
need to get him an inhaler.
totally not Wes choking on his lungs.
No, 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 not my half a lung that I have remaining. The rest is just tar. Um, but you know, not only the fact that we have like 70 plus books of 3.5 already, and you know, we don't want to spend the time or the money to read the new rules and buy the new rules and all the books. I really enjoy 3.5 is because of a two reasons. Both of them start with C's. So I got the two C's of 3.5. So I have um, compatibility. You can make so many different combinations for any sort. You can make anything, and I'm sure you can make anything in 5e. But like the amount of books that we have and the amount of knowledge that I have is like if something doesn't exist in 3.5, which is highly unlikely, I can fucking make it myself. Poof, easy peasy. Like I was bored and so I made a fucking Halo role-playing system because it didn't work with the D&D rules and I've always wanted to run a Halo campaign or my friend has wanted to run have a Halo campaign. So I was like, fuck it, I'll build some rules and I built some rules. Like
I
but
totally did
I
memorize them
like
in a day.
it's just a DM right here. You know what? You know what's funny? He knows more about that Halo role playing system than I do at this point.
Liam knows
Because
more
I
about
made that
D&D in
3 months
general.
ago. Yeah, facts.
Yeah.
But and it's to the almost the comfortability. Like as I said about like you know I stuck in the golden days of D&D is that I started out playing Pathfinder with Liam. And Pathfinder is, as in my opinion, almost identical. 3.5. Like to a T, they were released around the same time. The people who worked on Pathfinder worked on AD&D, the second edition of D&D. Like it is D&D without D&D. Like, any of the fucking patents, any of the names, there's no beholders, there's no this, there's no that. But it's D&D without a doubt. It's D&D how they saw it fit, but similarly at the exact same time, the other developers thought of the exact same shit. there are differences, and there's a reason now that we're playing 3.5 over Pathfinder, but they're very similar. We started out playing Pathfinder, and now we play 3.5, and as I said, they're basically the same system. I feel comfortable with this system, and 5e. Even looking at the character sheet, it's so alienating to me. I've played D&D for what, 5 years now, maybe 5-6 years, maybe. I don't fucking know. I don't keep track of time. I have terrible time management. Um, Jesus. It's comfortable for me, and I definitely could take the time to learn the new system. But I also work full time at the same time, and I'd have to change a lot of shit for my campaign. So, in future, I definitely think we could make the transition to 5e as 3.5 becomes more and more outdated. Even if they come out with D&D 6e, we will be so far behind in the curve that might as well catch up. But I think for now, I think the reason we play 3.5 is because we're all comfortable with it. We all know these rules, and we can teach these rules to new players. I don't know. That was a very long-winded answer, but I hope you got something from that, because I have no idea if you did, because I
And
was just
we've
kind of
got
talking about my ass.
one person left to talk about this topic.
Do we?
And that person is me.
Oh, what was the original question?
Why do we play D&D 3.5?
Okay, go for it.
Okay, so I had the opportunity of playing 5th edition first before playing 3.5 edition. And I think 5th edition was a blast. I didn't really get used to it that much, considering that all of my D&D groups just never got anything done ever. So I
Including this one.
never got to be able to be used to a specific character set or any rules that the DM may have had, or the DMs that I have had in the past. But now, with D&D 3.5e, I have a solid group that plays almost every week. They are very positive for the most part. For the most part, they are very positive, and they are always supportive. And therefore, I have a more positive experience with 3.5e as compared to 5e, and I'm also a lot more used to the 3.5e rules as compared to 5e rules. And ultimately I wouldn't be here being as comfortable as I am in a D&D setting if it weren't for this group right here. All you majestic lads, lasses, and whatever you want to call yourselves, for lack of better words, obviously. I couldn't have done this without you guys, and I am very proud to be a part of this group.
And we all appreciate you being a part of this group. It's the reason I'm talking this group up so much. I would be like, oh, I miss my original player. If I didn't fucking love the addition of you two. Like, you guys are a great addition. You guys perfectly were like that puzzle piece of, what our group was missing. No, I love having you here. And does anyone else have a good question? Because, most of mine remaining are pretty like DM's POV questions, more.
I've got class related ones if we want to go into classes.
Do we want to go into classes? Does anyone have any any other good questions regarding characters? I'm just kind of.
I have a more personal one that's related to D&D.
I've got
Like
one.
it's a D&D topic.
Um,
But if
You-
I'm good with jumping into classes.
Hold on. Do you have a good character one?
yeah, I was gonna say, who has been your guys' favorite character you've played?
I was actually thinking we can leave more of those topics to like the end of like more personal stories rather than like actual like D&D takes. Like that is a great question, and I think we should talk about it later.
Okay, yeah, we can do that.
But like I have like the whole like bonus round of like more questions like that.
Okay, so yeah, we could go on to something else.
All right, so hit me with a character thing.
Me?
Yep.
What's your favorite class and why?
Oh, what's my okay? I think we can. You know what? This might be a good segment before we get into like the more DMs POV shit.
Hmm.
Is we can start talking about these. Is what you're um. I think honestly at this point, if we're gonna get into this, let's start off with character and then go to class.
Perfect.
So, Owen, why don't you take it away? You asked a question. We're gonna break the norm that we've been doing. Is every time we ask a question, we let everybody else talk, and then talk. Unless you're me, and then you just talk for eternity. Because all I do is talk.
This is why we love
Alright.
you.
Who is your favorite character that you have played? And also, who's your favorite character that everyone else has played?
All right, Owen, hit her away.
So, uh, I'd say my favorite character that I've played is probably the one since I played him for the longest and
Zolog?
yeah,
Okay.
kind of have more kind of got I got to play him more than most of my other characters. So him I got to know him better, but so
And I love your use of got to know him better. Like that's great.
and for everyone else, for you guys, it's between two for me. It's between Ogdo and Skizzer.
Of course, it's my barbarians.
So I'm probably gonna
How
say
very
Skizzer.
on brand for you.
Fuck it, but yeah. So
Well, I think
because
I think
I just like your voice for him.
you know what? Fair enough. Skizzer was amazing. I think if you fucking quickly talk about Ogdo, and then because I was actually gonna mention Skizzer as my favorite character I've played.
Uh
I played a lot of good characters. It was a toss up between Skizzer and Solomon, but I think I actually just enjoyed Skizzer better.
yeah,
So, anyways, take her away, Owen.
and for Liam, I think I've only known like Arnir for you.
Were you in the
Or, oh,
the Fey exploration one?
yeah. What was your character's name?
Bartholomew. Well,
Bartholomew.
that's what everyone calls him at the end. His first name was. Give me a second. I got my sheet right here.
It was your like hat
Nakoa.
centaur.
Oh,
Koa, yeah.
Nakoa, yeah.
Oh.
Totally forgot about Nakoa.
Honestly, between Koa and Arnir. 'Cause I loved how you played both of them. So different. but kind of have the same vibe to them.
Hmm.
So I'm gonna say it's between those two.
Mm-hmm. V,
And
what about you? What has been? Oh, sorry, you had a bit more point. I thought you were over. Go ahead,
You just gotta
continue
do each.
talking.
You just
Ignore
gotta
me.
do each person, right? So
No, I don't
yeah,
think. I think I was thinking to make it faster. You go your favorite character and then your favorite character someone else has played, and
yeah.
that's it. Instead of doing a character for every single one,
yeah, okay.
because that would just we would be way over our runtime.
Just a little bit.
Like we always.
Just a wee bit.
So I think Arnier and whatever my character was, Ogdo, Skizzer, whatever. I think that was
Good enough.
perfect answer. So V,
Me.
tell me about your favorite character that and now because you've made a lot of characters, I'm going to what's your favorite character that you've played?
Okay, favorite character I've played is a toss up between Beckett, which is my current character. He's like one of my absolute favorites. And what was her name? Rosalina or something from the Fae expedition. That was my very first character. She was really fun. I really enjoyed her.
And that was your that was like your paladin.
Yeah, it was my
Right?
very first character. That one I was like, that one I really enjoyed. So,
Yeah.
Um, Nate, you have a little bit of experience with 3.5 or not 3.5 5e. Um, and I've only really known Yonatan to be your only character. Do you have a favorite character?
I mean, yeah, Jonathan is my Jonathan is like my first campaign character that I've ever like had established under a solid foundation. Um, again, like I've only had like two established characters like ever, and that was with Owen's one shot and your Boundless Shores campaign. So yeah, like it's pretty clear, like far and above, like
I
just
don't know.
from
Jeff Bezos was pretty fun.
yeah, Beth Jesus was pretty fun, but
Jeez.
Beth Jesus was pretty fun. But I think Jonathan is just my favorite character as default. And my favorite character that is not played by me is definitely I gotta go with Calduin. Like I love the vibe that Calduin brings off, and I love how Liam makes it more believable. And I'm just like, holy crap, like shit my pants, scary and
What?
authoritative, and I love it.
Thank you.
I love it
You guys
so
are gonna
much.
make me cry about this shit, dog. I love this campaign
Oh,
so
I didn't answer
much.
the question. I forgot to answer the question of who's my favorite. Shit. I can't even think of any of them.
Man, my characters aren't that memorable. Dang.
Dang.
Um,
I mean, how many characters
oh,
have you seen me play V? Like
two.
one?
Two. No, three. You've played in the Fae expedition, in Liam's campaign, and in the Diablo campaign.
You wait. You were a part of the Halloween one shot.
No,
No,
it was the other one.
they're talking about my dungeon crawler one, where you were
Oh,
I like that one. That
fuck!
one's my favorite. That one is my favorite.
What was his name?
I don't even
Izama.
remember.
uh
Izama. That was his name.
well,
That was a good one.
that was his cover name.
Yeah, that was a
Yeah.
good one.
You liked Izama even though I kicked your
did.
ass?
Because like it wasn't something I expected when it happened. Like I think we all recall like our facial expressions when you were like attacking us, and I was like, "Oh fuck you, Wes!" Like, God damn it. And then I
Okay.
remembered, like, okay,
Oh
Liam
yeah, I
doesn't
broke that
approve
character.
this. So
Like I felt kind of bad. I broke that character,
yeah,
and
I
I
was
would like I honestly, without a shadow of a doubt in my mind, I could have TPK'd you guys
mhm. As much as I
like
hated the character
easily.
in the moment, it was such a good character and such a good story. Like, oh my god.
Thank you.
Yeah. So like I'm gonna go off now, off topic.
Oh, look at you, tangent man.
So yeah, during that campaign, none of you guys were expecting that twist near the end. Good.
No.
So for the people who don't
Really?
know,
I
that
honestly
is
thought it was
my
so fucking
style of
obvious.
that is my style of DMing. Is I bring in twists because it was the same with the horror one shot that I made.
So, if I may, so you're basically like the Dungeons and Dragons version of M. Night Shyamalan.
More or less.
Fair. You know what? Fuck you for giving me the best transition ever. I am going to. I honestly, I don't want to talk about myself. As a forever DM, my characters are in the past. Right now, I'm really enjoying DMing. So I'm going to talk about my two favorite characters that people have played in my campaigns. You have a point.
No, I was just gonna say I did get to answer my favorite character I played, and
Did you actually not?
no, I
Fuck,
didn't.
eh? Well, stop giving me the best transitions and answer the fucking question.
I'm sorry. So
No,
Answer
you're
the
good.
fucking question, Jimmy boy.
Answer the question,
so
Answer the
Mike Wazowski.
honestly, of all the characters that I've played, as much as I did love playing Arnir, I have to say my favorite character I played was Bartholomew, the Warlock Tendonava. I honestly enjoyed playing him. And as for my favorite character to play, other favorite character, someone else's favorite character, I gotta go with James from the Fey Exploration. The way he just um
Oh,
did
But
his
yeah.
I'm sorry,
storytelling.
I didn't remember.
Don't worry, I can't remember his name or what he played. I just remembered his
He
interaction.
played a rogue.
Right,
I know he
I remember that.
Yeah,
He
and
played
I,
a rogue.
the thing that's
the
just always stuck in my mind is when we were leaving. That was my favorite moment.
yeah.
That was such a heartbreaker.
It,
I completely agree. That was amazing, and how his and my character really expanded throughout that whole campaign
Hmm.
was
like
we hated each other at the beginning, and then by the end of it, like my character Ajiren, that was his name.
Right.
My character Ajiren, he was gay. Right, I played a gay character, and by the end of the campaign, he was fucking had the hots for him. And then James's character almost stayed in the Fey realm for this Fey girl, but he knew he had to let her go, and it was a beautiful moment, and I'm pretty sure I saw James cry. Like it was a beautiful moment, one of the most sincere and emotional moments that I've ever gotten the chance to experience in a
Wes,
campaign.
I expect to cry at the end of Boundless Shores. If I don't cry, I will be very pissed.
I
you were fine at the end of
try
the
my
game.
best.
Like
There's some cool twists in there, but I have no idea how to make you cry yet. But I will. There's some weird shit that a few of you know that none of you know. Like it's weird. Like there's some weird like how each of the party relates to each other. It's fate. Like it is crazy how intertwined this party is for just picking up a job.
It's called me.
And
It's because we all chose trauma as our backstory.
mhm. And y'all chose me as your DM, so of course I'm gonna fucking explore your trauma.
I
Yeah,
thought that was backstory 101. Always have trauma.
Mhm.
one dead relative, one tortured relative, one this, one that.
No happy person is ever gonna be like, I'm gonna leave my family and go slay dragons.
I'll do that next campaign. You're welcome.
Oh no, me too. Me and Nate were thinking of like dad-like characters.
Bro, I'm playing
And
Emo
like
Dad.
literally, like I wanted to like play a bard. Like other Nate, like my Nate,
Oh.
D&D Nate, is the is we were like, yo, let's both be like dads. And like I would be a bard, and like the way I would cast my spells is I would say a fucking dad joke. And I like we were laughing because we would like terrorize the entire campaign just
You
by dad jokes.
You want to hear
And
the
I'm like,
best
man, I
dad
don't.
joke?
Yeah.
What's the difference between a light bulb and a pregnant woman? You can unscrew
don't
the
know.
light bulb.
Jesus. That's
Okay,
why we're
so
coach.
so my edit's gonna be just a flashing warning, 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 bad joke incoming.
A new bad joke approaches.
So I have plenty of characters that I could talk about as my favorite characters, but you know, I really like being the DM. Enjoy being the DM. Just wait for the heartbreak at the end of the campaign where I announce that I'm not going to be DMing the next one.
Oof.
I have a whole plan. It's fine.
That's a real heartbreaker.
I have a whole plan. It's fine. But I have a lot of characters that I could talk about. Skizzer was great. Fucking Jiren was great. You know, Ogdo was awesome. I loved playing someone who
Ogdo
didn't
was
take
the
things
best.
seriously. I think that was a lot of fun. Is like I take things too seriously sometimes, and so I just laid back and I was just a giant toddler, and it was fun. But I want to as you know, this has been a time to gas everyone up. I think my two favorite characters that someone has played in my campaigns. One, I'm gonna break a lot of hearts with this. I really love Tobin. Tobin is my boy. James will not watch this video back, so we will never know. But I love what he's done with the character. I love there's twists, there's drama, and his whole things with the dragons. Yeah, hold your heart. I told you I'd break it. Tobin is my boy, and like as much as I love every single character that is in my campaign, I really like what's going on with Tobin, and that could definitely change as we explore more of your um characters' backstories. And I know, like literally 6 episodes in, I finally gave Beckett the spotlight.
I tried.
With a personal dream.
Yep.
And I loved your reaction with that. I was watching your screen the whole time, and you're like,
I don't know what to do.
and I'm just out here fucking blowing your mind, and I'm like blah 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 blah, and then blah 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 blah, and then I'm like,
not say blah blah blah.
I do sometimes, but I think this everyone has answered this question, right?
Yep.
Yep.
Yes, I believe.
That I have to bring up, and
Mhm.
that's Hezekiah.
I'm not ready to talk about that yet. Give me a minute. I think actually this might be the perfect point where I really need to go use the washroom and go rip a toke. So I think this is the point where I'm going to pass it over to Liam to throw us on break here. So then we can go take a bathroom break, take a breather, stand up, stretch our leg. My foot has been cramping up for the last 20 minutes, and I've been trying to work it out, but I think I just need to stand up.
Bad idea. We'll fall over.
No, it's fine.
We just hear.
This is fine. It'll
So
be fine.
let's go on break, and then we will return with more discussions.
Yeah.
Woo, 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 woo. Take it away, Nate. You had a good question.
Okay, so how I got into D&D and how I discovered
Wait, wait, wait,
D&D.
ask the question again so we can actually
Okay. Okay.
focus up.
Yeah. How did you guys get into D&D and how did you discover it?
Mm, yeah. So how I discovered it was this man right here, Liam. Liam fucking messaged me up the one day. He's like, "Yo, have you ever heard of D&D?" And me growing up in a Christian home, I've always heard that it was devil worship, and I was like, "For D&D? You mean like Ouija boards and shit?" And he's like, "No, like role playing on like dice and paper and shit." And I'm like, "Oh, that sounds fun. What's it like?" And he's like, "Bro, come over. I'll run a game for you and my brothers, and we'll fucking play it. Like it'll be dope." And then he DM'd the first one, and then I was like, "Wow, this is really sick. Let me try my hand at DMing, and I want to DM the next one." And that's where it started. And now look at me now. I have anxiety.
The sad, sorry excuse of a man. No, sorry.
The start of the legend of Wes, the forever DM.
You can write an autobiography of how the fuck I became the forever DM.
Autobiography is you writing it yourself.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah, I know. I was talking to me.
blame me for getting this guy into a whole bunch of great stories. Sorry. I know I'm a terrible, horrible person.
God damn. Talking about great stories. So you know how you guys were talking about Skyrim all the time, right?
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that I fucking owned it, so I downloaded it.
Oh
And I'm gonna
really?
Oh
try
my
and
god.
see. Yeah, I looked at my fucking like library, and it's just like in my library. So I was like, I could just like download this, and so I just downloaded it and see if I can play it.
Nice.
Like if I can find the time to play it and the patience to
Do
play
a
an open
stealth
world game,
archer
because I'm a
build.
competitive I'm a competitive gamer, guys. Like I like beating people at
Do a
open world
stealth archer
games.
build.
Trust me, there's nothing more
Mm.
stress relieving than beating a dragon.
There's nothing more stress
What about
relieving than
climbing
beating
the
a
Brawlhalla
dragon's.
ELO ladder, dude? Like that shit's important to me.
Hey Wes,
This shit's live or die.
nothing is more stress relieving than bashing in a dragon's face with a giant ass warhammer.
But do you know what I do for work? I was
Smash Karen's
literally
faces in with a giant warhammer.
I wish. No, man. I would love to be a part of Karen Hunters. Um Dude, I was literally demoing a basement all this week and last week. Literally, like, imagine little me with skinny ass arms, big ass fucking sledgehammer. Boom! Fuck you, drywall. Boom! Fuck you, wall. Boom! Fuck you, tile.
after 6 hits.
Just being like Triple H sledgehammer. Oh god, by God, he hit him with a sledgehammer.
Just fucking I decked a whole wall myself, dog. I like it like okay. Look like y'all are in rooms. Look at your wall that's like leading into another room. I
Which
fucking decked one of those bad boys.
which wall? I can see 4 of them from my camera right now.
Anyone that connects to another room, I blew that whole shit down like I'm the
So
fucking big bad wolf. There's a
so
little fucking piggy behind there.
What
so
was the
this
question
one.
we were answering?
What was the question?
How did you get into
We got,
D&D and how did you discover it?
oh yeah, and then I'm out here fucking talking about taking out walls. So this man, oh that's how I became a forever DM, and then we went from there. So anyways, someone else take it away before I keep talking. I'll mute myself. I promise. Just remind me I won't.
I guess I could go how I got into D&D then. I actually got into D&D by my cousin. he introduced me to Pathfinder. He's like, hey, do you want to try doing a small join me and my friend this small campaign one day? I'm like, yeah, sure, that'll be fun. And so yeah, played I played a little bit and instantly fell in love with it.
Owen's next.
Got him.
I think how I got into D&D was I was playing Magic in one of the teachers' rooms in high school,
I was literally gonna like name drop him, like
and
just for fun, and be like, "Yo, shout out this guy."
honestly,
Like he was an absolute baller, and I want to shout out. Like
shout out
after
to
you're
you,
done talking, I want to shout him out. Just
shout out to you.
continue your point.
Uh, so I was in his room playing Magic with, well, yours truly, and sometimes V.
Hey, it was
And
actually the right area to be pointed at.
and it was like, why don't you come down to come
Al's
out
Toy Bar,
for
sorry.
E-night one night? And so I'm like, sure, why not? So I went in and sat in on a couple of the one of the groups who was already playing. So I sat in their group for a week and then was like, sure, I'll come inside, and got hit. And that's the story.
Hell yeah, V. How did you get into D&D? What was that like?
I blame you and Owen. Because I went through high school
Me?
with you too. Yep, I went through high school with you too.
Yeah, you
I
did.
was stuck with
It was all my fault.
Yep. Um,
Actually, it was all Owen's fault. I just like he gave you meth. I supplied it to you.
oh god. Yeah, no, I was working outside one summer. I was doing like some like general maintenance on a campground. And like all my other coworkers were like, "Oh yeah, like I listen to podcasts instead of music because it was driving me nuts just to listen to the same music over and over again all day." So I just turned on a D&D podcast. Like I'm nerdy. This will be okay. And I fell in love with it. And then I texted Owen the one day, and he was like, "Oh yeah, like we're doing this. Come up with a character. Here's a class for you to play." And then I joined you guys. So oh,
Oh,
that's kind of
that's
cool.
amazing. Yeah, Nate, how about you? How did you get into D&D? Like, what was that like, as a relatively newer player?
It was quite the story actually.
Tell me about it, buddy.
So from what I have told some of you, you know what was happening in my high school days. Um, I'd rather not discuss it here just for the sake of subject matter.
Of course, in privacy.
Um, but anyway, B would know. Anyway, so I was playing Magic in the art room, and one of my buddies went up to me and asked if I wanted to play a game called Dungeons and Dragons, and it seemed interesting to me because I'd played a lot of fantasy RPGs before, like Oblivion, Skyrim, Witcher, etc., etc. And I tried it out, and we went probably like 8 sessions in, and I had a blast. And I've been ever since that campaign ended, I've been looking for a new D&D group, like probably since like 2018. Like 2018 I started D&D, and then since like 29 since the start of 2019 I have been looking for a new group, and I have finally found one with you guys, and here I am.
Amazing. Yeah. I mean, on like kind of a relative note to that is um what do you guys consider to be a problem player? And this will kind of be more of an open-ended discussion than anything. But what do you consider a problem player? How do you deal with a problem player? And maybe share a story with um a problem player that you've experienced. I can think of a few that I've had in my groups, and I really want to talk about one in particular. I dibs James, not my James, not the one that in this campaign, but a different James. I dibs him. I get to talk about him. Um, but yeah, Liam, I think second to me and Owen, I think you have the most experience. Have you had any problem players that you've had to deal with, and how do you deal with them and stuff
Uh,
like that?
yeah, it would have to be my brother. You know him well.
Of course.
Um, yeah, so he's when it comes to problem players, the ones I unfortunately get the experience with is the ones that just do not want to listen to any of the rules or think at least somewhat logically about the game. Um, like rules lawyers, okay, yeah, they can be somewhat problem players, but it's just another passion for me. Like,
I think we can talk about rules lawyers in a little bit because my next question kind of covers that in a way if I segue it well enough.
okay,
Wink.
so yeah,
I will. But
it was the problem I have, like when I was trying to DM for my brother, is he didn't accept any of what I was saying. Like anything I tried to do or anything I did, he would try to rebel against. He tried bringing a flying nightmare into a closed dungeon. Let's just go with that. So I made it where, no, that is not something that one is normal for people to do, and two, it's not really something you can do. And so I implemented some things to help stop that. And if they still continue on, it's just like, okay, if you don't like how I play and how I run things, you're out. That's it.
completely agreed. Yeah. I would love to hear everyone else's uh opinions on this before I go on a long-winded answer as I do. But I completely agree. Like if you as a game master, you run the game, you make the game, you set the scene. If your player doesn't agree with you and they will not work with you, I agree. It's sometimes better to drop them. But Owen, have you had a experience with a problem player, and what was that like, and how do you deal with them? Do you deal with them as someone who hasn't really DM'd up to your Diablo campaign? Because I couldn't really think of a problem player other than me, but you know me, I'm not really a problem player, I don't think.
He's just a
Yeah,
player with
other
problems. I am mean today.
holy
You're right, but hey!
we are going for blood today. Holy.
The
Oh damn, motherfuckers
truth.
respect a natural 20 on me.
The
Holy.
truth hurts.
Sometimes. Owen,
Liam
tell me
used to
about
play with his
experiences with
brother.
problem players.
Holy shit.
Absolute savage today, dude. He's playing Calduin today, boys. All right, Owen, talk to me. What about problem players? How do you deal with them? Do you deal with them? You've experienced most of your time as a player, except for the Diablo campaign.
I
How do
don't
you deal with it?
I don't think I've really had any problem players other than like the one you're about to say. But I did have a problem player when we played Magic. And and
Was it me?
you you know him. Vanessa definitely knows him.
Oh shit! Graveyard Shenanigans.
Yes.
That's what we're
Oh,
calling
talk
him. We're
about
not
this.
name dropping
Okay,
him.
it's not D&D, but it's nerdy related, so I feel like we can talk about this because
Call him Graveyard Shenanigans. We're not name dropping him.
yeah,
Because
we don't if we're talking positively about someone, we can name drop them if we feel comfortable. If they
Graveyard
or if we
Shenanigans,
hear
boy.
from them, but we can call him that guy, or we can call him Graveyard Shenanigans,
Yeah.
So
or Shinanny for short. We'll call him Shinanny. So Shinanny, tell me about Shinanny. What did Shinanny do that was so problematic?
everything.
yeah,
Other than everything, but we've experienced it. I like at
You guys
least
only dealt with him
like
for
disclose
4
it a little bit.
years. You guys only dealt with him for 4 years. I went to school with him for my entire life.
Oh, I feel bad for you.
Yeah.
Shinanny was not
Mhm.
not good. Can I name a character
No.
Shinanny now? Or no? Or are you just gonna kill him?
You're gonna kill him. I'm gonna kill him.
Okay. So Owen, tell me about Shinanny. What did he do other than what V said? Everything.
so he would always play the same deck. And somehow would always get the same hand. And we would play commander. So like he would play the same deck and his argument was, well, you always play the same deck. Like, yeah, but I'm also willing to go to other decks, which I did. He never went to another deck. And
even me, who sucked at Magic at the time, switched decks regularly.
yeah, and he also
Was it
sucked.
because you were bad with them or
Fuck you.
sorry. Sorry. That was unnecessary. But just for context for those who don't play Magic, Commander is it's a 100 card deck, and each of the cards in the deck have to be
a different card.
a different card. So you can't run the same two cards in one deck. And somehow Shinanny got the same cards every single time to make him win, which sucked for him because we were just better at Magic than them. So his supposed we thought he was cheating for a time, which I don't think he was. I think the deck was just kind of brain dead, and he
Yeah.
just played a brain dead deck. But regardless, his cheating didn't outmatch our skill.
Except for me, because I suck.
Yeah, but if you have two, we kind of segregated into the experience and the intermediate table, which Owen and I and Shinanny and V all played in the intermediate table.
And then we
Because
had
every time we would try to play on the experience table, we would be shuffling our deck and going to the inexperienced table.
within like 10 minutes.
Not even within 5 minutes, we would be out of the game. Like it was like not even close. So we had to keep those groups separately.
Yeah.
But every single time, every single game, we would switch up our decks, and Shinanny would choose the same deck and get the same hand every single time, to the point where the teacher had to step in and be like, "Hey, you're pissing everybody off. Play a different deck." He lost so bad that he left the room and didn't come back for a month.
Yeah. Which everyone else in the group was celebrating for that whole month. And
Oh
then
my god, it was like a moment of peace, and then Shinanny came back, and we're like, oh, this guy again.
we were like,
But then at that point, the teacher deconstructed the deck because we all hated it.
Um,
and
So
yeah.
Shinanny, the stories of Shinanny are great, but let's get back on the D&D topic. You two as newer players, have you guys have had any? Either of you can answer this.
I haven't, but I've only played with you guys, so unless I'm calling Wesley asshole, then have
Nate,
you
do
been?
you have a story of problem players, and what do you do to um deal with them?
Okay, so in my ventures of playing D&D in high school, basically, I played all of high school. Um, I did stop in I did stop for a long time in grade 11, my grade 11. And in grade 11, I I was comfortable with being as a player and I wanted to try DMing. And I tried DMing, so I got the Dungeons and Dragons starter kit, which had the Lost Mines of Fendelver campaign, one shot, whatever you want to call it. It had the Lost Mine of Fendelver book. So I wanted to run Lost Mines of Fendelver for everybody as my first DM. And there is a reason that to this day, that is the one and only game that I have DM'd ever. And that is because of the problem player that I encountered. This person, like, it's not this person wasn't even a rules lawyer. It was way worse than a rules lawyer. Every action, every time I would have have a player do a skill check, every route that I went down, this person this person always complained about every decision that I made ever. Um, I had so I'm a comprom at the time I was DMing, I was like I like to appease people and compromise with them, and I that's if players are upset, I usually just negotiate and compromise and stuff. But this person would not stop just being totally obnoxious for 1 second. Always questioning moves that I made for my monsters that I was controlling, what route I was taking the campaign down, and like if I know I'm doing something wrong or I'm doing something incorrectly, then yeah, I'll generally take it. But it was completely beyond any point of logic or tolerance, I guess, for lack of better terms. And I think by the third session, I had had enough and just kicked him out of the party for being obnoxious and for not and for ruining the game for everybody. The 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 Shyamalan twist is that the other players in the group left with the problem player, and I'm just like, what the heck?
That's fucked.
Then I didn't want to DM after that because
No,
my confidence
understandably.
was just shot to hell.
Hmm. No, that's really shitty. Um, I think everyone has a chance to talk about problem players. Me as a forever DM, I have a very weird standpoint on problem players because I think the term problem players is too general. And I think sometimes what people describe as like problem players are really just things that the players just aren't doing what A, you want, or what B, what's right for the game. And from there, the best thing that you can do with a problem player is talk to them. Talk to them after the session, talk to them during the gap between the two sessions, talk to them. Hey, this is what's going on. I need you to adjust it because people don't like this. And that has happened a lot, and that doesn't mean I have a problem with those players. It just means that I think what they're doing is not good for the group or not good for the game. But problem players who are just shitheads. And there are a few types of players that I have a problem with, and there's me as a forever DM when I have the chance to be a player. I actually fall victim to one of the three. I think I have three. I don't know. I'm gonna talk and see if I have three. I may only have two, but I just want to mention on the point that rules lawyers are not the worst thing to happen to your group. I sometimes, maybe I'm just blessed with an amazing play group, but
Leon the rules lawyer?
Hey, I'm not full rules lawyer.
Yeah, he's not
No,
that bad.
you're not full rules lawyer.
guys, I'm
Under
about to talk about this. Stop stealing my thunder. So
Sorry.
sometimes I just love a player who's more experienced than the rest, who can help guide the party, and who knows the rules and can help me out whenever I don't A, have the time, or B, have the patience. Because being a DM, as Nate kind of covered, you gotta have a certain knack for it, I find. And I think everybody can DM. I think those who stay DMing, those are those who have the knack. I'm saying this just not to exclude everyone, because I really think every D&D player should have the experience of being the guy who runs things for a change. Especially sometimes problem players, if they run a one shot and see how truly shitty some characters are and how players act, they're gonna smarten the fuck up. Like it, but ultimately, I fall victim to sometimes. I fall victim to this, but I really don't like min maxers, and there are some times where you accidentally min max. Called you in. And you just build a good
Shots
character,
fired.
and they just fucking work. But there's sometimes where people build characters specifically to spite the rules to make the most broken best character. I once had this character, and I think I name dropped him before, but I'm gonna call him fucking Curly. So fucking Curly, he was a problem player, and I think I've had him DM for me once, as I vaguely remember, and he wasn't a great DM. he was very combat based, and that kind of gave me the first little red flag. But I don't, and that's not saying that every combat based campaign is terrible and anyone who runs. But regardless, so I was my former DM Gwen. She's a fucking legend. She really helped me shape my DM style, and that's something I do really want to cover if we don't go over runtime. I kind of want to say 10 o'clock is the cutoff for y'all, for us, or we're gonna talk all night.
No.
I'm
Um,
good. I'm good to stay up. I got nothing. I
I
got
got an
nothing
8
going
a.m.
on.
class tomorrow, so yeah, that ain't happening.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
gotta go. So therefore, the group has to go.
yeah, but regardless, sometimes if a problem player is too much for me as a DM, I will bring out my favorite D&D piece of lore that I carry through it every single campaign that I run. You've heard of Rocks Fall, Everyone Dies. I've taken that to an X degree. Long story short, in one of the campaigns that I run, someone left a 10-foot pole on a bridge that everyone had to, instead of cross the bridge, had to go below the bridge. And someone left a 10-foot pole there. And someone was giving me shit the entire campaign. And, you know, as a DM, you can only do so much. You can only pull your hair so much and get your players in line. If they don't want to be in line, do not force them to. Tell them to leave. I had the pole that was left on the bridge drop onto their head and split their body in half. And from there, it was dubbed as the devil pole. So, going forward, if I have a problem player as a DM, I will say a blood-stained 10-foot pole drops from the sky, splitting your character in half. And that symbolizes because I will pick up your character sheet and tear it in half. I love players. They're amazing. They make the game run. I only do so much, but I only build a half a story. They fill in the rest of the pieces. But if your players don't want to be there, or if they want to make a joke of your campaign, and I think that's the biggest thing, is make sure your players know the tone of your campaign. Because I played a meme-ass character. Go back and watch the Diablo character. Ogdo was a fucking meme the whole fucking time. All I did was crack jokes and fucking beat bad guys in.
And doors.
And doors. I read through a lot of doors. He has a bad concussion. That's why he can't read. He's
you
not
also-
illiterate.
you
He just
also-
can't read because he hit his head too much times. Too
I
many
want to go
times.
back
I
and
hit my head.
see how Octo, like the Iridove Octo love story. I want to go back and see how that comes out.
Honestly, that should be rediscovered in the next Diablo one shot. Wink,
Ogdo
wink, nudge,
also-
nudge. Owen has it in the works. I hope.
No, what you do is just put in a book in your campaign about just a romance
Oh,
novel.
the Tusculum thing. Yes,
God.
that's hilarious. Or because Mama Ogdo's is canon to my world, I'll just name drop it.
There you go.
You also Hulk smashed. Ogdo also Hulk smashed through a chest and put it into a waterfall.
Yeah, and I had a staring contest with a statue, and I named his big bad of the entire campaign after a fucking battery. So yeah, sometimes I will admit that I fall victim to this sometimes. But I was, in my defense, I was just letting loose because I was kind of hyping myself up for running my campaign where I would have to take everything seriously.
I'd just like to add on to your point and say that as much as it is the DM's responsibility to let the players know what kind of campaign it is, whether it's serious or like a meme campaign or somewhere in between, or even beyond the scale, I think it is equally up to the players as well to ensure that they know what type of campaign the DM is running.
Of
I,
course,
I
yeah.
think I, I think that's a two-way street.
Oh, I completely agree with you. Yeah, as a DM, I can only command you guys so much, but as a DM, I have to give you free will. And so I can only harangue you guys in a way so much as a DM. It's like I can railroad you guys so much so until you feel like you're being railroaded.
Should we just screw with Wes next session? Next session?
And all of a sudden, 5 10-foot poles just drop, contain, just 4 bloodstained 10-foot poles just drop from the sky and split everybody in half.
I love you, Wes.
The next episode will just be named the Shinanny episode.
Dungeons and Shinannies.
Oh,
I'm gonna
good.
shenanigan my pants if you guys are gonna fucking.
Um,
So let's get ourselves back on topic here. Um, Honestly, my real answer is talk to your players, and if they're really not gonna work with you,
10-foot pole.
don't work with them. You only can do so much as a DM, and you can only do so much as a player. If someone really does not want to be there, don't let them be there. Um, I had a good question after this. You know what? Have you guys heard of the Mercer Effect?
Yep.
Nope.
Yes.
I know,
I have
I'm so
heard of the
uncultured.
Mercer Effect.
Everybody hate me.
So Liam, you answered the most confidently. Can you explain what the Mercer Effect is for those watching and those in the discussion?
So yeah, so if most people don't know, or some people don't know, um, Matthew Mercer is the DM for Critical Role. He's a big voice actor. He's a great DM. Um, and the Mercer effect is that people who watch Critical Role, this can happen to both DMs and it can happen to players. Um, the Mercer effect is you get stuck in your mind that you have to be, that's the way it should be played. That's the way it goes. If you're a DM, you feel like, oh man, this isn't as good as Matt Mercer's. This will never be as great. Or if it's a player, it's like, well, Matt Mercer never did it that way, or Matt Mercer this, Matt Mercer that. So it's a very, what's the word I'm looking for? Um, problematic effect that can happen. Um, and when it gets like that, uh, uh, yes, it can be upsetting, but the best thing to do is just remember that you are your own person. You will play things your own way. You'll experience things your own way. You don't need to follow all these big social media people and do it exactly how you do it. D&D is a way that you're supposed is a game where you're supposed to have fun, go on adventures and parties with everyone, and just have a good time.
Agreed. I really wanted to bring up the Matt Mercer Effect because I have a weird belief that it has both a positive and negative effect on the D&D community. And and I'm glad that you mentioned both um, DMs and players get the Matt Mercer effect because I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt that I've fallen victim to the Matt Mercer effect. But I've relaxed a little bit, but I still want to run my campaigns a certain tone, so I do want to set it in a way almost like Matt does, but I do it with my own twist, and we can talk about style versus skill in a little bit, or if we run over a runtime, we can do another fucking episode, because I can probably do a whole discussion on just DM things and like DM's questions, and if we want to do that another time, fuck it. But I wanted to bring up the Matt Mercer effect because I do believe that it can have a positive effect on the community if we let it. Because we all view the Matt Mercer effect negatively. Everyone wants to be Matt Mercer, and everyone wants to have Matt Mercer as their DM. So players expect their DMs to be Matt Mercer, and every DM expects their players to be voice actors and to make this game their job, which it's not. It's a hobby for most of it. It's a hobby for us. I work a full-time fucking job while running this campaign. It's a hobby for me. This is how I de-stress in the week. But I do believe that it can have a positive effect on the community because I, like most DMs, have watched Critical Role and seen how fucking Matt does this, and Matt's amazing. Matt is, I would highly regard as one of the top 3 DMs of all time.
Easily.
And everybody puts him up on this pedestal. And like, if you want to watch a good video, I had to go back and search for it because I really do want to plug it, and we'll put his channel in the description. But I watched a video of anyone who've watched early campaign 1 Critical Role. You guys heard of Tiberius.
Yep.
And so I watched a video by this YouTube channel, Super Geek Mike. We'll link it in the description, about Tiberius and why he left Critical Role, and he went way more into detail of like problem players and how Matt runs the game and how we should probably take Matt off this pedestal. But I really disagreed with a few of his points because I think Matt deserves this pedestal because he puts in the fucking work. He puts in the hours, and he makes amazing campaigns. He not only makes his players visualize his entire world as he views it, he makes all of us, all critters, view the same shit, and that's what I really would love to mirror in my own campaigns. I just pinched my finger in a fucking drawer for no reason. What the fuck? Sorry, my thought train's coming back. I was getting distracted. But yeah, Super Geek Mike, why Tiberius left Critical Role. We will link in the description. It is a very well done video, and it goes into a lot of detail, and it is really well done. And I would like, and I'd love to like have a little segment on here about good YouTube channels that you can watch to be a better player or GM, whatever your role is in your play group. Like, I would love to have a discussion of like great D&D channels that you can watch other than Critical Role.
Do we want to share YouTube channels that we've watched that help us with character creation stuff? That could be a question.
Yeah, I have quite a few. So
I
my number one that I've been watching, he has a whole series about this on his channel. He's fantastic. His videos are well done. Matthew Colville on YouTube. I believe it's just Matthew Colville, but we'll link it in the description. Or as Matthew Colville says it, looking at the doobly-doo, because I think it's really funny, and I just wanted to mention it. He says, "Oh yeah, it's in the doobly-doo," and I'm like, "Yo, that's fucking classic. I love that." Matthew Colville, he really helped carve my DMing style and how I run my games. And his videos are always well done, and check him out. I swear to God. Otherwise, map-wise, WASD 20. is amazing. He is a fantastic fantasy map artist. Other than his D&D stuff, like he has a lot of great how to play 5e and a bunch of stuff like that. But like map wise, if you're looking to draw maps, like I took a bunch of inspiration from WASD20. I believe his name is Nate, or my name is WASD20, other than also known as Nate or something like that.
That's me.
WASD20, other than Nate, fantastic guy, fantastic for how to draw really great, realistic art looking maps. Otherwise, player wise, there's two separate channels, but it's run by the same guy. Don't know his name, don't know what he goes by, but how to be a great game master and how to be a great player. There's two separate channels. He goes into so much detail with his stuff, like I've watched quite a few of his videos to really help understand the mind of the player, not only but understand how to DM better. Um, Otherwise, Critical Role is amazing to watch, but I wanted to talk about other channels to diminish this Mercer effect, even though I do sometimes speak about it in a positive light, because I think what Matthew Mercer has done for the community, almost there, uh, it has been incredible, and he has inspired so many DMs and people to aspire to be a better DM, to mirror his work. And you can take it in the positive light, as I've said it, or you can say it in the negative effect of my DM's trying to do this, and my players are that. I think Matt Mercer deserves the respect that he does, but not everyone is him, and not everyone can be like him, and everyone has their own style, regardless of skill. Everyone has their own style of DMing, and yeah, that's it.
Another channel that I want to shout out is Dimension 20. They
Oh
do
yeah,
I
they're
fucking
good.
love Dimension 20. They do a lot of stuff like us where it's a lot more adult rated. Yeah, Dimension 20 is a great channel. V, you had something to say.
Yeah, I mainly do podcasts, so but I also haven't been affected by the Mercer effect because I don't watch Critical Role.
Shame.
I know everyone dissed on me for like 10 minutes.
People
Yeah,
have
no, it's
spoken.
fine. I
Um,
think
the, I would go through like every single one of the podcasts I listen to, but I won't. So the two I listen to the most are Dark Dice on Spotify, which is like a horror-based one, and they go like really in depth into like storylines, so it like sounds like a production. It doesn't sound like they're playing D&D. It sounds like a legit production. And then another one is the Auxventure Podcast, which is kind of like us, but they do like more PG rated. And then for
Yeah.
YouTube, I listen to, or I do Joe Cat, and he does
Oh
a
yeah.
crap load to D&D, which I
Yeah.
watched to learn more about classes and stuff so that I could figure out what I wanted to play, and that's kind of how I got
Yes.
clerics. So, yeah,
Joe
I've
Cat is so good.
yeah.
I've actually got a recommendation as well. Um, there's another channel. Her name's Ginny D.
Ginny D is fantastic.
How do you
Yeah.
She
spell that?
if you're looking for LGBTQ positive D&D content, uh, she's very well structured. She knows what she's talking about. Like Ginny D is fantastic. I completely agree. Sorry, continue. Like she is amazing. Again, as Colville says, in the doobly doo.
Yeah, like she gives so many good tips on not just how to like play D&D, but like how to understand like how your DM's thinking, like what they're like how you can role play better, build stories, why certain DMs act the way they do towards specific things, like pets and stuff like that. Like she has tips for
I
everything.
recently watched that video because two of my party members have pets, and I don't really know how to deal with that. So I watched that video recently, and that gave me a lot of tips and pointers of how to make it better, and like it was really well structured. I really recommend that video if you're struggling with that specific problem. But Ginny D as a whole, fantastic. She's amazing.
I really just watch it for the cosplay. That's the gay kid in me.
Yeah.
Um, I haven't really taken note and gone into the depths of the D&D creators that I watch. But one of them the one that's really stuck to me is Puffin Forest.
Oh yeah, he's I like him.
I like
Puffin
Puffin Forest.
Puffin Forest. He hasn't. I don't think he's uploaded in a while, but he still does a lot of. He has a lot of good content on there, especially with dealing with problem players and just really funny misadventures.
He also does a lot of like different stuff instead of just like D&D. He also does like Call of Cthulhu stuff like that as well. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
That's actually one I would love to get into.
Yeah, that would be a very interesting system to learn. And just once again, I mentioned his video earlier, but Super Geek Mike is a recent discovery for me. But his videos are excellent. I have been watching a lot of those recently. They're very well done. He has a great outlook on not only the game but the community as a whole. And Super Geek Mike, shout out to him because I know he's like a smaller channel and we're fucking not even a channel at this point. But I want to gas him up because he's super amazing. He could be the next fucking Mercer. He could be the next Colville. Like he is fantastic, and I really recommend him. All channels that we've mentioned, $10 to you, Liam, will be in the description if you want
Uh,
to check any of them out. And I even urge my players, those in the call, to check out some of the channels that I mentioned because they are excellent.
Already described to them.
I would like it, I would describe it as 1 foot in the door and 1 foot in the grave.
How so?
Like we have like established our channels and we are establishing consistency. But again, we're also at that stage where we're not really anything too special yet. Like we've just started.
Actually, we're not doing half bad right now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like we've kind of got a foot in the door, but we've also got the other foot in the grave as well. Like we're
I've
just
already thought about it. I'm like, man, I'm really not gonna give a shit unless we have like over 200 viewers. Like, other than that, I don't care. We're not really a footnote.
Yeah. So you know how I sent you the analytics last time, Wes?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now we're up to 52 views and 23.2 hours watch time.
Mm,
wow, wow.
damn.
We've like hold on. I'm trying to do math in my head, and I've got Ogdo brain.
As we all do.
That's not quite that's
Yeah, the feeling and favor already has 10 views.
we've already multiplied our views and watch time by like 50 since in like 6 weeks, which is fucking insane.
Still only 11 subscribers though.
Yeah. But if the views keep going up, then we'll definitely get out there.
Hey, fuck yeah. Well, let's keep her back on fucking track here. Anyone else have a good question, or I can go into my list of 19 questions. Have we kind of
Um,
covered the whole Mercer effect?
Yeah.
Right.
I actually kinda had a question. Um, whereas this was going back to like character stuff. I was like, what's your favorite pet you had in D&D?
I've only had one.
Same.
I've never had one.
Can we add favorite class onto that? Like talk about our pets and then go on to our favorite classes.
Didn't I have a raven at some point?
I feel like you did.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember its fucking name. That means he wasn't memorable.
I-
I don't know. I can't really think of like other than a few
They-
cases, new cases, and Narloth.
Yeah.
We haven't really had those
I
like
barely-
that much experience. But I think favorite class is a great thing to cover right now.
Who's
Okay.
going first?
I volunteer as tribute.
Go for it.
So V would know this since they have bothered me about it so much. Especially when it came to making my character in this campaign. My favorite class is a ranger. Uh, it's like
Cute
kind of like
boom
a
soundtrack.
ranger. Ranger and druid have been my favorite classes so far, mostly because that's where my heritage lies, like in Ireland and Scotland and Germany. There's a lot of druid ranger background where there have been a lot of attunements with nature and stuff like that, and it hasn't always been that way for obvious reasons, but what I'm mainly referring to is like 400 BC, um, those Britannic tribes. I've always found a home with like anything like nature related. Again, like ranger and druid. Um, this campaign is the first time I'm really experimenting with a different class than ranger, and like especially being into a multi-class. I think I like it. I'm proud of myself for um, getting out of my shell, if you will, um, and just trying out new options. And I can't take all the credit. V definitely helped with me getting out of my shell and trying new things, and I'll always be appreciative of that. And and you guys as well. Like you have helped me become a much more extroverted person and have made me be able to be like I can express myself more freely and put time and effort into my character that I otherwise wouldn't. And I just want to thank you so much for that.
Yeah, no, of course.
Sorry,
Uh,
I'm getting emotional.
no, you're good, buddy. Fucking, we love having you here. Uh, Owen, tell me about your favorite class and why.
My my favorite class or classes are like the damage dealers because I love damage dealers. So I would say
Mm,
barbarian, fighter are kind of the classes that I like to go for,
hmm
and mostly because in most of the games that I play, I want to be like the damage dealer. So I just feel comfortable with damage dealers. So
Mhm.
I say those are
Yeah.
those.
So I wanna wrap this question up real quick. So then we're gonna ask one more question before we end it off because we got 10 more minutes before our runtime ends because I want our final question here to be kind of more of like an open-ended discussion that's going to take us 10 minutes. So, speed fire round of those who haven't answered. Tim, favorite class?
Me?
Yep.
Okay. It's got to be Warlock.
The only one here named Liam.
Sorry, I heard M. That's all I heard. So,
Oh, okay.
it's got to be Warlock. And the reason for that, especially 3.5 version, is just because yes, they have small spell slots and stuff. Well, really, it's not even spell; it's spell like abilities, with their invocations. But there's so much you can do and combine with those invocations, which I like. So it's just like the versatility and combining it with other classes, hint, hint, makes it makes it really great.
B, as you answered this question.
No, I haven't. I've only
Okay.
done 2 classes so far. I'd gotta say Paladin's my favorite. I love the ability to be like the mama bear of the group. Like you get to protect everybody, and I really like that. I mean, I guess that's kind of fitting since I hold the single brain cell for the group, but um, yeah. So yeah, that's gotta be my favorite. I've also like loved every single paladin character I've ever played. So not that I didn't like my clerics, but yeah.
Of course. I don't know. I don't think I've found a favorite class yet. I I I love playing rogues. Rogues have always been kind of a soft spot for me because as an edgy former emo, um, I like my edgy characters. Oh, and shut the fuck up. I know I'm still emo, but still. Uh, I the class I've actually found myself enjoying the most was definitely monk. I think I could explore being a monk in a full-time campaign
But
because that class was a lot of fun to play.
and there's so many books that can change how a monk works as well that we've got.
No, of course. Yeah, like it has so many endless possibilities and I really only, you know, brushed the surface, looked at the cover in the first 2 pages, so to speak. Like I really did enjoy playing a monk and I definitely could explore playing a monk again. But
I definitely need to dive into those monk books.
yes, Liam, you should hook a brother up and send him a bunch of good monk books so he can optimize his monk.
Yep.
But the final question that I really want to leave you guys off with, and it's more gonna be a bit of a long-winded one, so we might go over our runtime a little bit with this one just to get everyone's input in.
Can I answer first so I can dip?
Sure, yeah, go for it.
Okay.
So, what is respect and boundaries at the table, and how do we deal with bad situations?
Oh fuck. Okay. I don't know. You guys have been like really respectful of me and my stuff. Like I know you guys know of like some of my background and I'm not gonna share that here, but you guys have been really good about that. I mean, like I've known Owen and Wes for like ever, so that's made me feel really great. And Liam and Nate have been good too. So yeah, like yeah, I think respect and boundaries, like it depends on how you're friends with people in the group. Like there's certain people who like I'm not as close as in the group, like as I am with like Liam, Owen, and Wes and Nate. But yeah, I think it just depends on who it is, what's going on, and background.
Of course, no, that's a great answer, and thank you. Always talking up our group.
Okay, I'm gonna
I
dip.
do really enjoy this play group. This has been the best play group I've ever played in, as I've said before, and I'll say again. And thank you for joining us, V. I know you got to dip and do your
Thanks,
thing.
V.
Have a good night.
Have a great night, V.
Bye, guys.
We'll
See ya.
end
Bye.
this off and talk to you later.
Yeah.
See ya.
And then there were four. So, Liam, tell me about respect and boundaries at the table, and how do you deal with a bad situation?
Um, well, I guess this kind of goes with that. What do you do with a problem player? Question as well, where it's like if somebody doesn't respect your boundaries or respects how you play, you tell them it's like if you don't respect, get out away from my table, type of thing. Um, with this group, I honestly there has been no problems with that. It's honestly just ones I try running solo that I have problems with. But this group is amazing, and part of that is because um, knowing what everyone's gone through and knowing what their likes and dislikes are is really great for a good campaign, and discussing about it's like what would you like or not like in the campaign so I know what not to put in. Um
Of
like
course.
when it came to my very first uh unshot that I did, the horror one, I made sure I asked everyone to put in a phobia, and people gave me um, some things not to put in just because it would be way too much for them.
Yeah, and I actually have very personal experience with this. I am an arachnophobe, so when I see a spider, I'm not scared of the spider. It triggers something in my brain, and my anxiety triggers, and I can't deal with that. And so every time I have a DM, I ask them, "Hey, do not include spiders into your campaign because I'm an imaginative person, and if you tell me to imagine spiders, I'm not going to be able to sleep tonight." I ran a session with spiders in it because I wanted to try my hand and, kind of put myself out of the comfort zone, and I did not sleep that night over my own description. And I learned from there is sometimes you can't push your boundaries on some things. And that's why, as Liam was referring to, like, there are some phobias that I would like to not discuss. And so the my arachnophobia is definitely one. I would not like my character to meet a spider. We can meet ants, we can meet bugs, but if tell me to imagine a spider, I cannot sleep. And so that was my kind of long-winded response. I do have other answers, but Nate and Owen, what's respect like for you guys, and what respect and boundaries at the table?
I feel that um like people like y- how how can I phrase this by what I say? You know, come back to me because I have to think.
Nate, do you got anything?
Yeah, so oftentimes through my through what I've experienced and what I've been through, I absolutely cannot do bees or wasps, hornets whatsoever. Just that fight or flight response just kicks in, and I can't control that very well. Like you said before, Wes, it's just something triggers, and immediately get uncomfortable at the sight or sound of anything like bee related. Like a fly could go past me and I'm just like, is that a fucking bee?
Yeah, phobias and traumas can really affect you, and as a player, you don't, as I said, this is a hobby for all of us. I don't think any of us can get fucking paid for D&D other than goddamn Matt Mercer. But there's in this hobby, you don't want to push yourself out of the comfort zone because it's just a safe place for everybody. Like we want all of our players to feel safe. And I would not want to make you feel unsafe in this group, and therefore I'm not going to touch on your phobias or your fears or blah 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 blah.
I do not say blah blah blah.
Sometimes I do. Um, but Owen, have you formulated a response yet?
I think you guys basically hit on what I was going to say, so I think we covered everything.
Yeah. So respect and boundaries for me at the table. I know a lot of DMs like to run a session zero where you talk it out with your players individually, you know, and then you kind of feed them into the word a little bit. Like I know for Matt Mercer's second campaign, I know he ran, I think, 3 or 4 individual sessions with 2 of the characters to make them more established into the world, and then he brought everyone together. I personally do not do that. I discuss with my players, and we can have a whole fucking topic about this. I have like 6 other questions that I can segue to it, but we're a minute over playtime, so I'm going to wrap this up quickly. Um, I talk to my players, and I get their thoughts and feelings, and Nate doesn't like bees and I don't like spiders, and so we're not going to add those in, and if there's something that you don't want to talk about, like trigger warning, if rape ever comes up in my campaign, I don't think any of my players have dealt with that, but if a player has and it comes up and they get uncomfortable, as I said, I want this to be a safe place. And so I'm not going to bring it up. And that's why, I've had a few character ideas come to me of, you know, some real world equivalent shit of some very dark and traumatic backstory, as we all love to formulate these traumatic backstories, where I have to say, whoa, this is too real, you need to tone it back. Anyways, I think that wraps it up really well. I think respect and boundaries are the most important things to a group, and that's why as we've been gassing up our group the whole time, is words. I totally lost my train of thought. Um, is we give your friends respect. You are playing D&D with your friends, so respect them, and have respect for the game and who's running the game. As we've covered, is if you are a problem for your DM, the DM will have no problem with removing you from their play group. Is they put in the time and effort to build this group and to build this story for you, and if you're not going to take the story seriously, then the DM will have no problem with removing you. And there are ways that problematic players can grow into better players. I've seen some problematic players grow into some of my favorite characters and some of my favorite players. And it's all about respect, and have respect for your DM who's putting in the time and effort to make the story for you, and respect your friends who are taking the time out of their busy week to
play with you.
just hop in a call with you and or sit in the same room with you and play with you and play pretend, and we're all pretending, and that's a real thing, and I don't want to pretend to do a very real thing in my group. I want my not only my play group but my story to be a safe place, and I like stakes and I like dramatic stories. But if you bring real life shit into it, it complicates things, and I don't want that in my play group. And I know there are plenty of play groups who do cover these kinds of topics and can handle it well, but that is just not my play group. So, anyways, that is my long-winded answer. We're only 5 minutes over playtime. I thought I was gonna be like talking for a lot longer. Owen, buddy, take her away. End us off for tonight.
Well, that is going to be it for the first episode of the Paradise Show on the Drunkards and Dumbasses channel. Uh, go click any of those links that we said down below, as well as please like and subscribe. And we'll see you in the next episode of The Boundless Shores. Peace.
Have a great night, everyone.
Peace.